Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. Thanks for being here. So much going on. Of course, there's another mass shooting, this one in Maine. Maine residents are sheltered in place right now because the guy is still on the loose and killed at least 22 people in separate shootings across Lewiston, Maine last night. The person of interest behind the deadly mass shooting is reportedly a trained firearms instructor believed to be in the Army Reserve. Also believed to be a Democrat. Robert Card was stationed out of Saco, Maine, and reported hearing voices and threatened to shoot up the National Guard base where he was stationed. So, another mentally ill person. The guy actually spent 2 weeks in a mental hospital over the summer and then was released. And I don't know what we're going to do about this, but this is going to keep happening while crazy people are wandering the streets. I don't know how you stop it. I really don't. I don't know. Do you keep them in institutions forever? When you think that they're better, I guess, or are we going to keep people locked up who when it's against their will? It's a tough one. It's a really tough situation. But hopefully they find this guy and put a stop to his carnage. But, it's going to happen now. Same thing that always happens. They'll be screaming for the guns. Leading the charge will be Joe Biden, who was out again looking stupid yesterday.
Wait, stupid?
Yeah.
The president
stupid,
of the United States.
Confused. Yeah.
Wow.
Brain dead.
Sad to hear.
Yeah. A lot of different adjectives you could use there.
Huh.
But here he is, looking confused as always.
I tell you, man. Has no idea. Close your mouth, man.
He's got to make this noise.
He's asking, where do I go? Do I stand here?
Yeah,
What?
he is. Yes. And they told him already.
He has no idea. He's like, oh, okay, I'll salute here. What am I doing?
They said, hey, stupid, stand there and, look presidential for a minute. Can you do that?
Can't do it.
No.
No.
No, I can't. And he can't. And of course, he never leaves the stage properly. We know that. We've established that fact. Here's more proof of that. Looks around.
The Australian
Waits
guy's
for the guy.
Just walk, bro.
All right.
Just freaking walk.
Every single time. He just can't. He can't.
And he looked for his mark because they put something in the grass over there for him.
Yeah. Well, and he's got to make sure he doesn't fall down the stairs because that is going to happen. It's inevitable. It has to. It has to.
What was this yesterday, Chris? They were inspecting the
guards. Yeah, Joe. You got a bunch of pictures says Joe Biden inspecting the guards, whatever. But
that's not America.
I have a question for y'all.
When did that start?
Weird.
When did we start inspecting
that's new,
the guards?
Right? When did that? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that.
I know it's called the King's inspection of the guards.
Right, but we don't do that here.
We don't do that here. We don't inspect the guards.
Huh.
So and it had all the branches.
Very militaristic.
Weird.
So why was showing force?
That's a weird thing. I've never seen that before.
No. So my question is, why are we showing force to Australia?
Is this a message to China since Australia's close there in the Pacific? Is that the Indo-Pacific region that Biden's always babbling about?
I don't know. It was really weird. For me, it was really weird, the whole inspection of the guards.
Yeah. That was on TV yesterday when you and I were in the other room, Chris, and you said, what in the world is happening? Because you're right. I've never seen this.
Is a military parade with tanks and rockets next?
That's next. Scheduled for early December.
Because that's really cool. I love the Soviet-style military parades. Those are fun. Those are fun.
Those are going to happen as soon as we declare World War III. That's how he's going to do it.
Okay.
He's just going to show the...
I feel like we already have.
Yeah. We're in it. We just haven't declared it.
Right. We don't declare. That's old school. We don't declare wars anymore. We just get into them.
Man. Also, he messed up a famous American quote yesterday.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I forgot about
Nearly 55 years ago, American astronauts took humanity's first step on the moon. They sent a message, forever etched in history. Quote, "That's one small step for man and one giant step for mankind."
No, that's not. You're not quoting there. That's a misquote. Wow.
It's not a giant step?
I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that.
I know. All the questions are harder from here on out, Joe.
I was in, I don't know, first or second grade probably, and knew that quote instantly. Instantly, because everybody did. I was 9 years old when we went to the moon. Jeffy, of course, heard about it on his grandfather's knee many years later, because he's so youthful.
So youthful.
As we all know. Yeah. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
A giant step?
Not a giant step.
So giant leap is your final answer.
That's my final answer.
Okay.
Can I phone a friend? Let me call my friend Joe Biden.
oh, dude, he would totally cost you the money. So yeah, and I love the fun fact how the radio transmission broke up and it was supposed to be one small step for a man.
Yes,
I love that. That's so fun.
I do too.
But yeah, giant.
Either way, it worked out really well. I mean, that's a cool quote. It really is. The Russians wouldn't have said that. What's that show where they made it to the moon before we did? It's For All Mankind.
Yes, For All Mankind. Yes,
yeah.
On Apple TV.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have a hard time watching. I tried to get into that, but I can't stand watching the Russians
because you're not a Ruski.
Beat us because I'm not a Ruski. No, so it bothers me.
What are some? Obviously, we have flub after flub after flub from Joe Biden, but what are some just general quotes that everybody can rattle off that he has screwed up? It's not just that one.
No,
it was the thing.
Yeah,
what was his
the Declaration of Independence?
All men are created. The thing.
Yep.
And there's another one like that. He sucks so
it's terrible.
Much. What you have the? Oh, okay. He's gonna play this. Here you go, Joe. Pay attention.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
There it was, giant step for mankind. Got that?
No, he said leap.
Oh boy, I tell you.
One giant leap for mankind. There it is. So
it's truly not that hard. Somebody should have wrote it down for him, right?
Right.
On a little cheat sheet, like we've got his cheat sheet.
And
from
it
yesterday.
was written down. You know it was. And it still didn't work.
Do you have his cheat sheet, his little note card from yesterday? Look at that, Pat.
Yeah, this is something else. Where he had the publication, USA Today, had the name of the reporter, Joey.
Joey, baby.
What he was going to talk about, Israel agrees to delay the ground invasion. Then he's got his answers. His 3-step answer there.
Oh, my gosh.
All written out in advance.
Oh, my gosh. There is literally...
How do they put up with this?
A 20-year-old intern writing this note card.
Gosh.
Or there are Marxists who never took 5 minutes to learn English. Look at that. Been in close consultation with Israelis. There's not apostrophe there.
Yeah.
Oh, nice catch.
What in the hell?
Yeah.
What? I swear this nation is run by illiterate Marxist people.
Well, so they're in close consultation with Israeli if you were not to...
Oh, my heavens.
Because that's what you'd be saying there.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Without.
Look at the slashes they put between separately. So if you're listening to this, the note card, somebody went in. I think they just wrote in pauses for him. Like, pause here, right? Or maybe his brain can't comprehend a full sentence
because they have slashes there where he's supposed to stop.
Yeah, separately. Slash.
We've had forces in the region for a long time.
Slash.
Stop. In order to protect against resurgence of ISIS. Stop.
Oh, no, you know what that is? I wonder if that's where he's supposed to look up so it doesn't look like he's just reading it verbatim. Those are like little look up reminders.
That could be too. Yeah.
This is Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, that's great stuff.
The dead guy in Weekend at Bernie's had more life in him than the corpse in chief that we have right now.
Yes. Yes.
Oh gosh.
Jeez, man. Unbelievable. Also, we have another day and another old story from old Joe.
Did you want to guess what this story is going to be?
I do, but I need context.
See, yeah, I don't know how we do
need
this.
Context.
He's talking about...
The context is he said this many times.
That's your hint. Really, really recently, too, Pat.
Very recently.
Really? Like yesterday
recently?
It's the Xi Jinping thing again?
Yes, it's unbelievable.
No, stop it.
I can't.
I thought it was the same
He
clip.
did it again?
It's like, we are living Groundhog Day courtesy of Joe Biden.
My gosh.
Watch this.
My gosh.
I don't think you're ready.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
you're ready.
Here we go. What? Play this.
That I have met with Xi Jinping more than any other world leader.
Oh, my
has.
gosh.
I've had over 68 hours of private meetings. He and I with a simultaneous
Really? I've never heard of this.
Were you on the
starting back when I was
Tibetan
vice
plateau?
president, because it wasn't appropriate.
It wasn't
For the
appropriate for
president
the
of the United States to be meeting with the vice president. So I traveled 17,000 miles.
So,
And I've
17,000
subsequently,
miles.
in addition to that 68 hours, I've also had another, they tell me they keep meticulous contact. Another, I think, 12, 15 hours of discussions, just he and I. And I think that
Why is this?
he is realizing that there are, for example,
I can't stand it.
his
2 days
Belt
in a
Road
row.
Initiative. Well, we're going to compete on that, and we're doing it a different way.
Wow. He had the mileage though this time.
Yeah. He did the
And-
interpreters, too, on that deal, didn't he? I think he did.
He didn't mention the Tibetan plateau.
So every now and
On
then
this one.
he'll just mix and match facts.
Yeah.
He'll just say like, oh yeah, today I'm hitting you with the Tibetan plateau.
Why does he think it's a good thing? Why would we want him to travel 17,000 miles with Xi Jinping? Why would Americans think, oh, wow, that's fantastic?
Isn't it though?
That's so great.
Good stuff.
I am voting for him again so he can travel another 17,000 miles with Xi Jinping on the Tibetan plateau.
And you know, it's not just that story where he mentions,
Jeez.
I don't know, they tell me such and such. They keep meticulous
Yeah.
records. Oh, okay. They keep meticulous records even when you were vice president? Well, then surely when you're president of the United States, they keep meticulous records of who's visiting you in Delaware.
All right.
So let's have a little conversation about that, shall we? Which, by the way,
No.
speaking of his time as vice president, Chuck Grassley was saying how the FBI had over 40 active tips or something about Joe Biden going back to his days as vice president, but yet they just allowed him to keep steamrolling into the
Ignored it.
presidency.
Yeah, they ignored it.
Such a corrupt
So bad. So
government.
bad.
Hurts.
All right, let me take a minute and tell you about Undertack. Most guys spend more than half their day sitting, and every one of us has been irritated by uncomfortable boxers that need constant adjusting. Well, Undertack isn't your typical men's boxers. They're made with modal. You think of that like cotton, just way better. It's 50% more moisture wicking. It's antibacterial, and it's just way softer.
Yeah.
Undertack stays in place with a sturdy but comfortable extra wide waistband, and the fly design is brilliantly
I'm
straightforward.
telling you, they sent us a pair to try,
Yeah.
and they were so comfortable that I went out and I actually bought more Undertack
Nice.
for me. I mean,
Yeah. They're great, aren't they?
I've had some comfortable underwear in my life, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not blowing smoke when I say Undertack is so soft, man.
Yeah.
You're
Really,
like-
really nice. You're going to love this stuff. It's durable. It's lightweight, fade resistant, shrink resistant. Here's the best part. They're 25% less expensive and come with twice the satisfaction guarantee of the competition. And if that's not enough, they donate a portion of their profits to organizations actively in the fight against human trafficking. Pick up a drawerful today. Undertack.com. That's undertack.com. UNDERTAC. Undertack.com. Get 20% off site-wide when you use my offer code PAT20. Exceptional comfort. Twice the guarantee. A fraction of the price. You can't lose with this. Undertack.com. Undertack.com. Offer code PAT20.
That gray is unleashed.
All right. Well, speaking of American leadership, we have some new leadership now. They actually voted on the Speaker of the House yesterday, and it is Mike Johnson, somebody most people really aren't all that familiar with, including us. I wasn't really familiar with him.
I'd seen his name. I could never have picked him out of a lineup before.
No, I couldn't have either, in all honesty. Now, he has a 74%. Is it freedom score or is it the...
This is freedom score.
It's a freedom score.
Yeah.
Okay, so Freedom Works gives him 74% for this session, but I think 80% lifetime.
Overall, yes. But the 75, sorry to correct you, is going up.
Yeah.
So it's not going down. So.
Okay, good. Good. So, I mean, 80% lifetime, that's a lot better than Mike McCarthy's was, and a lot better than most of the other guys that were being considered for this, except for Jim Jordan and Byron Donalds, who apparently, for some reason, didn't have a chance.
Racism.
Yeah, right. Right. In the case of Byron Donalds, obvious racism.
Obvious?
So, we have a new Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
That might be good, or it might be bad, because now they'll get back to work and they'll start doing crappy things that we don't want them to do.
Yeah, I thought, it'd be fun to kind of go and find some clips of him, in retrospect and see.
And get to know him, really.
What's he been up to lately?
Here he is discussing the Biden crime family.
Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution itself expressly states that the sole power of impeachment belongs here to this House. And then Article 2, Section 4 says, listen to the language carefully, it's expressly written in the Constitution. This is not political talking points. We're not making this up. It says in Article 2, Section 4 that the president shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. My friends, I just listed just a small sampling, just the tip of the iceberg of the credible allegations and the mounting evidence that shows that Joseph Biden has engaged in bribery schemes, pay-to-play schemes. This is what the evidence shows. We have to follow it. We took an oath to uphold the Constitution. The Constitution requires this action. The inquiry is the appropriate step. We have no choice to pursue the facts wherever they lead, and we will leave no stone unturned.
Okay.
All right, that's promising, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Here he is grilling the FBI director.
Ooh.
The FBI made the social media platforms pull that information off the internet if it came from conservative sources. They did this under the guise that it was disinformation. Can you define what disinformation is?
What I can tell you is that our focus is not on disinformation, broadly speaking.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, it is. Wait a minute.
Can I answer the question?
You can in a minute. Your star witness said in the litigation, Elvis Chan, who's in charge of this, said they do it on the basis of disinformation. We need a definition of what that is.
Our focus is on malign foreign disinformation, that is, foreign hostile actors who engage in covert efforts to abuse our social media platforms, which is something that is not seriously in dispute.
I have to stop you for time. That's not accurate. You need to read this court opinion because you're in charge of enforcing it. The court has found that, and Elvis Chan testified under oath in charge of this for you. He said 50%. He had a 50% success rate in having alleged election disinformation taken down or censored. That wasn't just foreign adversaries, sir. That was American citizens. How do you answer for that?
Well, first off, I'm not sure that's a correct characterization.
Comes right out of the opinion. You should read it.
Of his testimony. But what I would say is the FBI is not in the business of moderating content or causing any social media company to suppress or censor.
That is not what the court has found.
Yeah. All evidence to the contrary, as always. Amazing. These people are amazing. So in the days after the death of George Floyd, he had this to say.
Okay.
And I've thought often through all these ordeals over the last couple of weeks about the difference in the experiences between my two 14-year-old sons, Michael being a Black American and Jack being white, Caucasian. They have different challenges. My son Jack has an easier path. He just does. The interesting thing about both of these kids, Michael and Jack, is they're both handsome, articulate, really talented kids, gifted by God to do lots of things. But the reality is, and no one can tell me otherwise, My son Michael had a harder time than my son Jack is going to have simply because of the color of his skin. And that's a reality. It's an uncomfortable, painful one to acknowledge, but people have to recognize that's a fact.
What should we do about that?
I think that we really do need systematic change. I think we need transformative solutions. I think we're at a moment where we can begin to do more to form that more perfect union, as it says in the first line of the Constitution.
That's a red flag.
Those are fun talking points that he took right out of a DEI handbook.
Yeah. That's a red flag right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we need
transformative,
systematic change.
Yeah. So, yeah, just something to keep an eye on, right?
You say you want to change the Constitution. Well, we all want to change your head. You tell me it's the institution, you better free your mind instead.
You want to be transformative?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, Mike Johnson does.
I don't know.
Hey, here's a good quote from him yesterday. Are you ready for this? Quote, this is a new Speaker of the House, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're not continuing resolutions anymore. We're doing instead a messy process of doing 12 separate small spending bills that are single subject. Takes more time. It's a messier process, but in the end, I think it'll be good for the American people because we're trying to curtail spending and the growth of government.
Okay.
But don't forget, he wants transformative.
Yeah, right.
Systematic.
Yeah, and how about a budget? What about that? Yeah. Instead of 12 spending bills during the course of a year, how about one budget? How about you do that?
I will say that this man, new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson of Louisiana, is going to be tested very early in the wake of this Lewiston shooting. Because you know that starting, probably already, but starting business hours today in Washington, D.C., they're going to, like you said at the start of the show, they're coming for the guns. This is going to be a renewed effort, especially they're going to point, look, this guy was certified. He's the kind of guy that, anyway, they will use that. Boy, that was a Biden moment. Anyway, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to cave on something like this, because this is going to be his first test, major pressure right out of the gate. Hope he's strong.
Here he is yesterday, right after taking the Speaker's gavel.
I want to tell all my colleagues here what I told the Republicans in that room last night. I don't believe there are any coincidences in a matter like this. I believe that Scripture, the Bible, is very clear that God is the one that raises up those in authority. He raised up each of you, all of us. And I believe that God has ordained and allowed each one of us to be brought here for this specific moment in this time. This is my belief. I believe that each one of us has a huge responsibility today to use the gifts that God has given us to serve the extraordinary people of this great country, and they deserve it.
Okay. Yeah, I like the God speak. I'm not sure everybody in that room was put there by God, frankly.
Wait, Adam Schiff?
Not put there by God.
Adam Schiff has been complaining on Twitter about Mike Johnson, which is a good sign. That's positive.
That is a good sign.
He's
the New York Times was complaining about him. So that's a really good sign.
He's an election denier, as Adam Schiff calls, because he wouldn't certify the election for Joe Biden.
Shut up. It took 2 minutes and 26 seconds after he was approved by the House to get an email from Representative Bill Pascrell that said, today, Republicans found their Goldilocks candidate, a person just extreme enough to satisfy their far-right base, but not yet a household name to engender organized opposition.
Interesting.
7 minutes later, Jerry Connell added, Mike Johnson isn't a household name. People are Googling him just to find out who he is. But let me warn you right now, he's as dangerous as anyone in the Speaker's chair.
All right.
He's dangerous? Never mind the Hamas supporting socialists sitting there right next to you, Jerry Connell, on your side of the aisle. Never mind the communists and the anarchists and the brain-dead buffoons in the Democrat Party. Never mind any of that. Worry about this guy because he's conservative. They love this far-right thing, man. They think that's a winning proposition to call people far-right. Far-right extremist. He's a far-right MAGA Republican extremist.
I'm shocked we didn't hear screeches of horror from the House floor while he was giving a speech, and he mentioned the word Bible.
Yeah, right.
Scripture. Oh,
Right.
God. Oh.
Yesterday, they've already labeled him Mega Mike Johnson. MAGA Mike.
MAGA Mike.
MAGA Mike, yeah. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see. Oh, I like this too. Let's see. Simon Rosenberg, who is a Democratic advisor, declared Mike Johnson is a dark moment for American democracy. Well, that's okay because we don't have a democracy. So I guess that negates the dark moment, doesn't it?
You know, I my early assessment on this guy was, there's a lot more to like than dislike by far.
Yeah, I think so.
But then you read these quotes, and now I'm thinking, all right, this could be historically good.
Yeah, I know.
But honestly, they've got those talking points ready for anybody. They got the nicknames ready for whoever. That's probably who's been more frustrated than us on the right, is than the left, who's like, we had a great nickname for Jim Jordan. We can't use it now. You know, we had a great nickname to make fun of, I don't know, Steve Scalise. Oh, we can't use that now. Wait, who? Mike Johnson. What are we going to do? We need some alliteration here.
Starts with M. How about MAGA Mike?
Yeah, MAGA Mike. Let's do that one. I swear. That's the depth of thought on the left.
Oh, no question. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I'm going to be watching him very closely in the wake of this shooting. Obviously, what's going on with Ukraine and Israel. And let's see, because remember, he was against funding. I think he voted for funding Ukraine the very first time and then never again.
Okay.
I read that.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right.
And let's see, what was the other thing? Obviously, not certify the election. Some other good stuff from him. We mentioned these on the show yesterday, or maybe it was overtime. I don't know. But he's got an interesting track record that is not that bad at all, really. So
since he has a black son, does he have a black wife, or is the son adopted?
I believe he's adopted because they released a picture of his family, and she's not
black. Okay, so two white people. Can they have a black person now? Because maybe that's a thing too. You know, because men can get pregnant, so maybe white people can give birth to a black person. I don't know.
I wonder what that's all about.
Is that a thing now?
Yeah.
Might be a thing. Not sure. And he looks pretty young too. How old is this guy?
Is he?
And he's from Louisiana.
I've seen a bunch of family pictures. I don't see a black son in any of them.
Oh, really?
Does he even know who's in his family? maybe there's another red flag.
Yeah, that would be.
Hold on, Mike Johnson. How old is Mike Johnson?
He's got Hannah, a daughter Abigail, 50. And then Jack and Will, whom he spoke of, right?
No, he's talking about Michael and Jack.
Oh, that's right.
Where's Michael in these photos?
Where's Michael? What do you mean? He doesn't even have a son named Mike.
What a liar!
What a lying
He was
sack of
pandering
crap.
on that interview after George Floyd and wanted us to not fact check him because he's like, I'm Mike Johnson. No one's ever going to look into my background. And so we just bought his line, hook, line, and sinker.
That's weird. We got to look into that.
Yeah, we got to find out
what's the story.
Find Michael
on the black kid Mike in his family.
Mike Johnson, new Speaker of the House. He's 51 years old.
Okay.
But he looks
he looks younger than that. Yeah, he does. Hey, if you're suffering from low energy, brain fog, unexplained extra flab, the problem could be your liver. You may not know it, but your liver is the foundation for good health. It performs more than 500 key functions, like filtering toxins, breaking down nutrients, and keeping cholesterol in check. But in time, your liver can start to wear down because we just bombard it with a lot of garbage. So that's when you get energy crashes, you get belly fat, and have trouble with memory and concentration. Fortunately, there's a simple solution called Liver Health Formula. It contains 11 powerful herbs and nutrients clinically proven to recharge and revitalize your liver. It also helps protect against fatty liver, which is a silent epidemic among 100 million Americans. Liver Health Formula, manufactured in the U.S., approved by American doctors, and because you listen to the show, you can try it and receive a free bottle of nano-powered omega-3 to keep your heart and brain healthy, too. When you order today, go to getliverhelp.com/Pat and claim your free bonus gift. Again, that's getliverhelp.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome back. This is Pat Gray Unleashed. Thank you for joining us.
Are you struggling over there
on the show?
What?
Anyway, I've said too much.
You have a little helper cheat sheet.
No, I don't know.
Oh, you do not have a
helper.
I
don't know where that came from. No, I don't know what that is.
Oh.
I don't even know what that is.
Very smooth, Pat Gray.
Let's show the cheat sheet that Biden had again yesterday. That's mine. That's my cheat sheet.
Let's see Joe's.
Let's see Joe's.
Okay.
Because it's
there it is.
There it is. Look at that. And he has that every day, every time. And it's interesting.
I tell you,
because he just can't function. He just can't function as a normal human being. He can't.
The unnecessary apostrophe on Israelis.
No.
I cannot get.
And that's
over
not
that.
him. That's whoever.
Yeah. And
whoever took
that
his
shows
notes.
you that behind. You know what? You know who that was?
Great.
It was KJP.
KJP's people.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It was probably her.
Probably her.
It was the same person.
Herself.
We know she tweets for him because she accidentally tweeted under her account for him.
Right.
So she's probably the one that does the little card too.
Probably.
It was the same person that probably did the research on that person and they tell them that they had a daughter and they never had a daughter. Remember that incident?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The New Mexico,
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Bill Richardson.
Got some tweets here. Yes, because Bill Richardson died and they were talking about his daughter, but he didn't have one.
But then if you go to Wikipedia, it says he does have one. So that's probably what happened on the Google search.
They didn't, but remember,
they didn't look into it any deeper than...
Yes.
They didn't even click
Right.
Yes, they didn't even click.
Because it showed that on the search results, but when you clicked on it, there was no mention of a daughter.
Yep.
Amazing.
This
It's
government
terrible.
sucks.
Eric Vanillaface White tweets, "Our country is lost. We might as well have a president that's lost too."
Yeah.
Jimmy Dimples, a parade when we get into World War III? I thought we gave all our gear to Ukraine.
Oh my gosh. How tough would that be? It's like,
well, we'll have the parade in Kiev.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, that's where we'll have the parade. They might let us borrow it for a while for the parade, right?
And we'll do the inspection of the guards over there as well.
Over there. Yeah,
they're already
good.
there.
It'll be good. And then we'll send our troops out onto the front lines. That'll be good. That's perfect.
Oh, no.
Tamara B., one small step for Joe, one giant falls down the stairs for Biden.
That's good stuff.
That's good. We needed a sound effect there. I think I have.
You got a crashing sound or something?
I used to. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably not on this one anymore.
Oh, that's kind of a weak effort, I think.
It was.
That was very weak.
How much time do you want me to spend looking for
Well,
it?
Chris and I will just talk. So, Chris, what's been going on in your world?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's raining, man. Like nuts out there.
I don't have it.
All right, it's worth a shot.
It was raining like crazy, though. We had a downpour like we haven't had in a really long time last night, and there was ponding everywhere. In fact, it was laking or oceaning out on the streets.
It was both.
I think it was oceaning out on the freeways. You would just be driving along, and you can't see it because it's night, and you just hit a patch of 6 inches deep water.
Yeah, I pass. It's not an exaggeration. I pass half a dozen new neighborhoods on my way in, and boy, it was a fun drive in. I'll tell you that.
And that brings up another topic: the spread, the sprawl here, and how quickly it's happening. It's really amazing. Really amazing. And out where you are, you're way out there.
The runoff.
You might as well live in Oklahoma.
It's New Mexico.
I thought he did live in Oklahoma.
New Mexico. Yeah.
It's.
New Mexico.
We actually get our local TV stations out of Santa Fe. Yeah. Can I just also point out though that I posted these on Twitter yesterday. These are like waterproof Crocs.
Oh,
I mean these are.
Are they literally Crocs or just Croc-like shoes?
Yeah, there's Crocs.
I haven't seen anybody wearing Crocs for a long time.
You know where I got these, by the way? Do you remember
Australia?
Not quite.
No, where?
That's funny though. That's a low key. Anyway, you remember somebody sent a huge chest the size of my desk, filled with Crocs, to
really?
our offices in New York City. You remember that?
Oh, wow.
And I have no idea where it came from. And Glenn said,
just fit?
Just take Crocs, everybody. There's only, it was about a dozen of us employees at the time. And he's like, yeah, just, I don't know, somebody sent Crocs.
Oh, those were good times, Ray. Those were back in the day.
Okay, I'm not trying to make you sad.
The beginning days in New York.
I'm not trying to make you sad.
Those were good times.
That's when you could walk down the street and not be murdered in New York.
Okay. Yeah, well, for a while. There was a time period for about 6 months where you might not get killed in New York walking down the street.
I've been wearing these Crocs on rainy days ever since. That's cool. And I don't care. You guys can badmouth Crocs all you want. I love them. I don't care.
Crikey.
I don't know if that's like an odd
that's all I
hot
wear.
take there.
That's all you wear?
Yeah,
Are Crocs?
Yeah,
that's all I wear.
That's true. You do.
I don't have no shoes.
We're definitely
Crocs.
off topic here, but since you brought up stuff that was sent to us, something very interesting was sent to me yesterday.
Oh.
And I opened it up.
Uh-oh.
Is that it right there?
Yeah, but I'm looking for the actual package on the outside, and I can't find it right now. But okay. Anyway, I pull this out. Okay, it looks like there's something cool in here. I don't know what it is, and then
oh no!
Oh, this is awesome.
And you open it up, and it's a potato.
This in your dude.
They sent me a potato.
Those are awesome.
Get out my face.
I've been trying to
get out my face.
Get out my face.
Get a potato.
You've been trying to get a potato?
Hold on.
There's a store for that. It's called a grocery store.
Y'all, hold on. We just this was history. We just witnessed history. Never before and never since will the sentence, I've been trying to get a potato has been uttered. Chris Cruz making history.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see them
It's really
online.
not that hard to get a potato.
Okay.
I don't know. You don't have to wait till
you get a
somebody
whole
sends
bag
you one.
full in some places.
That's not that
my side
hard,
of town,
Chris. Maybe for Puerto Ricans? I don't know. Is there a thing there?
Are you an American yet?
There's this big thing now where you can send potatoes to people through a company, and they do that. And I've been trying for someone to send me a potato.
Why do they send the potatoes?
It's because you're a potato. That's the whole thing about the whole story. Oh, you being a potato.
Well, this says our pledge to reduce food waste. They want me to.
I don't want that one.
They want me to plant this potato.
Oh well, then never mind. I don't want that potato.
They sent that to the wrong guy.
No. This is fine.
Is it?
Okay, so here's what we do.
Is it? There, wait.
Nobody in management is up this early, right?
Right.
They roll in.
Man, that's hard to get the.
Okay,
there it is.
There it is.
Get
out my face.
Get out my face. Okay, so obviously management doesn't roll in here. They're in the 1056 club. And so what you do is you take that potato. The ground is nice and saturated out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You bury it. And we don't tell anybody. And like I said, they'll never know.
And then you just start growing potatoes.
And then all of a sudden, we're going to
get a potato
next
patch.
spring, and then we'll be like, wow, how'd this happen? And then we'll know.
Is it that easy? All you have to do is just bury that potato and then it grows into
I think you wait until it starts sprouting.
Oh, okay.
I think now that we've had this interesting conversation, I think the patheads will chime in and make sure to guide us. But I think you wait until it starts doing its little nasty
thing. Oh, yeah.
growths.
Yeah.
Because I'm willing to do
the
that.
stuff starts growing, the eyes or whatever.
So what we'll
I'm
do
willing
is
to do that.
we will put that potato in this dark corner, come
Yes.
back after Christmas break, and then it's planting season.
Okay.
I'll definitely do that.
I like that. All right. Okay, back to the show now. We return to Pat Gray Unleashed.
Potato talk.
The right meme tweets, excuse me, I believe that's one giant leap for people kind.
People kind. Yeah, you got to update that.
Not mankind.
That's true, because that's what, one of the times it screwed him up when he was saying all men are created equal.
Right, he didn't want to say that.
He didn't want to say that.
Nor did he want to say the word God, and so he didn't.
So play that clip again, Joe. It's clip 3, because let's see if you know that someone on his staff, they had an argument backstage. Put in the teleprompter or whatever. No, don't say mankind. Let's see what it would have sounded like. Here we go.
Nearly 55 years ago, American astronauts took humanity's first step on the moon.
Okay, what was the quote, Joe?
They sent a message,
Okay.
forever etched in history.
It was 54 years ago.
Quote, That's one small step for man,
Humankind.
and one giant step for mankind.
For humans, I don't know. I could have.
He screwed it up so badly.
But the point is, there was a debate somewhere in the halls of the White House.
Yeah.
Don't put man.
Well, that's what was said, though. We can't.
But don't.
Yeah, but remember what Michelle told us. We've got to change our history. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. We got to take it to a new place, a new conversation, change our tradition, change our history. You're right. We should change it to humankind. Right. Or people kind.
People kind.
Biden's long-lost train of thought. I like that. Biden meant one giant lie for mankind because we never landed on the moon. Just ask Sabrel.com.
Nice throwback.
That
was a good throwback.
When was that episode?
It's been months now.
End of March, I think.
Yeah, about 6 months ago. Lone Wolf 2965. We should just be thankful Joe didn't regale us with the tragic story about how his son Bo died on his mission to the moon. Right? Right. Pretty soon he'll have died in Ukraine or Russia or Israel or something.
The Obama's pond.
Yeah, right.
We have an update on that. We can get to later.
All right, we'll get to that. Stay tuned for that. Scott A. Montgomery. Finally, someone has a history of supporting Freedom Caucus issues. Speaking of the new speaker.
Yeah.
And that's great. However, we have encountered a slight controversy today.
Okay.
Been doing a little homework on Mike Johnson because we don't really know this guy. He comes from Louisiana. He is pretty conservative. But he told this story that sort of irritated us because it could lead to some like DEI place, and we just don't need it. Play again to remind everybody what he said after the George Floyd thing. Here's what he had to say.
And I've thought often through all these ordeals over the last couple of weeks about the difference in the experiences between my two 14-year-old sons, Michael being a black American.
He makes it sound like
Jack
they're both 14.
Yes. White,
first of all,
Caucasian. They have different challenges. My son Jack has an.
He doesn't just make it sound that way. He says it.
Yeah.
My two 14-year-old sons.
Yeah.
With no explanation. Wait, how do you have two 14-year-old sons? One's black, one's white.
Right.
How'd that happen? They're not twins, obviously.
And just to
what happened?
Loop in the audience here. He did at the time of this recording have a 14-year-old biological white son.
Yes.
But the 14-year-old black son
we'll
that
get
he's
to that in just
to
a sec.
is much older, is what we're trying to say. He's not 14 at this time.
Okay, so go.
Easier path. He just does. The interesting thing about both of these kids, Michael and Jack, is they're both handsome, articulate, really talented
14-year-olds.
kids, gifted by God to do lots of things.
Yeah.
But the reality is, and no one can tell me otherwise. My son Michael had a harder time than my son Jack is going to have simply because of the color of his skin.
Well,
and
that
that's a
leads you to
reality.
believe
It's an
maybe
uncomfortable,
it's in the
painful one
past.
to acknowledge.
Okay, got it. Here's the deal.
Okay.
He told the story in 2019. Many of my colleagues in this committee may not be aware. In addition to our 4 children at home, my wife and I have a much older son who happens to be African American. We took custody of Michael and made him part of our family 22 years ago. So the guy is 36 years old now.
Okay.
Well, no. Now he's 40 because this was 4 years ago. So he was 36 when he was telling this story. The guy's 40 now.
Right. Okay.
So they took him in 22 years ago when they were newlyweds, and Michael was just 14 and out on the streets and on a dangerous path. So when they got him, it had already been a completely different experience. He was out on the streets. I almost slipped into Canadian there for a second. He was out on the streets. Actually went to Scottish. Went actually
We're getting
beyond
it all
Canadian.
covered, man.
You okay?
So he was out on the streets, and they took him in. So he'd already had his different experience. You can't compare them now. Now, if you would have raised him from birth, let's see then. Let's do that experiment and see if he's treated differently in his experiences when he's got a similar upbringing in a similar environment. You're comparing apples to oranges now, dude. That pisses me off. So, I mean, I like that's nice that they took this in. It's like they took this kid in. That's great. It's like the Michael What's-His-Face or the Michael Orr story, with the Tuohys, taking him in and helping him along the way. And then they got kicked where they live because of it just recently. But this guy needs to explain himself a little bit better because this story doesn't add up to what he's saying there. And
as we saw, his family is white as snow.
Yeah, they are. All of them.
And I cannot, for the life of me, find a picture.
I've looked all through their Instagram photos that are all over the internet, and there's not a single photo of Mike. Young Mike, the black kid.
Who's now 40.
Not to be confused with Big Mike, because that's a completely different person.
Okay, we got it.
Right, yeah.
Oh, by the way, big happy birthday to Hillary Clinton, who posted this on her Twitter account on October 26th, 2016, where she said, "Happy birthday to this future president, Hillary Clinton." And as it was posted, one of the throwback to one of the biggest L's of all time. Biggest losses.
That's good. Like that. Yeah. All right. We've been telling you about big tech censorship and talking about the major step Blaze Media is taking to declare our independence from big tech ahead of the big election in 2024. So we can continue to bring you the truth no matter what. No matter what happens. They shut everything down. They silence conservative voices. You can still get the truth from us. Because we're not going to play their game anymore. We're not going to use their ads. We're not going to do the pop-ups, except for the pop-up that tells you that you can now subscribe. Okay, so you're going to get that one. I don't want you to be pissed. There's going to be pop-ups. That will pop up and invite you to subscribe. Okay? Yeah. But that's reasonable right now.
Right.
Okay? You're not going to get 3 per page, though, which drives me out of my mind. But the new website, I think, is actually beautiful. It really is really nice. And we put a lot of work into it. There's going to be a lot of great opinions on there, a lot of different pieces. If I ever have a decent thought, I might jot it down and put it on there, too, to see what happens. We'll see. We'll see if I ever have a decent thought. But we're asking you right now to visit theblaze.com and subscribe to Blaze News. Help us be independent. We'd rather rely on you than big tech. Help us do that. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
There it is. Yeah! All right! Woo! Yeah!
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
I can't hear you! Weird day. 888-933-93, Pat Unleashed on Twitter. I just want to clarify for the Media Matters goofballs that will be listening to what we said about Mike Johnson and his family and try to turn that into something. The reason the Mike Johnson story bothered me, his story about his 2 14-year-old sons, one is white, one is black. They've got completely different experiences in life. Okay, well, he made it sound as though the only differing factor was their race. It wasn't where they were raised, how they were raised. Their environments were the same. That's what he made it sound like. And so you're left with the impression that America is a racist hellhole. Well, it isn't. It isn't. It would have been interesting to see if, okay, you adopted this kid when he was a baby and you raised him with your white son who you gave birth to, and the two of them were raised in the same environment, went to the same schools, did the same things, lived in the same house, all of those things. Not you just got somebody on the street who's already been, who knows what, he's already been through hell. You admitted that. So that changes things. That changes the dynamic between the two boys a great deal. So don't try to sell me on the fact that America's racist because your black son that you got from who knows what circumstance had a different experience than your white one. Well, yeah, there were a bunch of different factors there, weren't there? Was he abused? Where did he go to school? Where did he live? It's just so to me, that's a red flag for this guy, for the Speaker of the House, because that's a guy who doesn't believe in America and the promise of America being, for the most part, opportunity driven for just anybody, for everybody. It doesn't sound to me like he believes that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of Speaker of the House he turns out to be. But that's a red flag.
Yeah. And that was right after the death of George Floyd. And
yep. And you're playing into that.
And I would just say, let's not even talk about race. Let's just talk about that was his immediate response right after that event. Mm-hmm. So now when something traumatic, such as Lewiston, Maine is happening,
right,
we're going to see how he responds in crisis.
That will be interesting, won't it?
In the coming day, by the end of this week, we're going to know if Mike Johnson, so I guess by tomorrow, Keith, we're going to know how principled he is on something like the Second Amendment.
Right. And I'm anxious to see. Because he's got some promise, and we've heard some really good things from him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know all that much about him, but that was a weird story to tell at that time.
So are you anxious to see, or are you eager to see? Like, are you nervous about where this could go with Mike Johnson?
You caught me.
You could say yes.
You caught me.
You could easily get out of this and say yes. I actually am anxious.
I actually am.
That's appropriate.
I am nervous about it.
Me too.
Yeah, I am nervous about it.
Because this is high stakes, man.
It is.
We are in the 11th hour as a nation.
We can't afford a crappy Speaker of the House.
No, sir.
We just can't.
We cannot have a swamp creature. We have got to have someone to stand up to the insanity that's happening in the Senate and the presidency and even the courts.
And somebody who stands up for America.
Yeah.
I am so sick and tired of people bitching about this country and comparing it to other places. Show me the diverse country that has a better situation racially, religiously, ethnically, in any way than the United States of America. Show me a better situation for any people anywhere. There isn't one. First of all, there's probably no country on earth as diverse as we are, where everybody lives together in this close proximity to one another. Does anybody have this kind of diversity? Not that I know of. You're not going to find that in China. You're not going to find it in Japan. You won't find it in Russia or Sweden or France even. France has some diversity now, and they're not dealing with it very well. Same with Sweden. So the countries that do encounter some diversity of backgrounds and race and ethnicity, they start to see that things can get a little bit hectic, chaotic
people
at times.
Take advantage of it. Yeah. And even Europe, just like our cities right now, Europe, do we have the image? Let's see. It's going to be, oh gosh, where is it here? FS3, Joe. To your point, in London, is one of many cities that is dealing with these rallies. Don't say pro-Palestinian. In many of these cases, they are coming out and saying they're totally fine with terrorism and the murder of Jews.
My gosh.
And there's the banner the guy is speaking in front of, riling up the crowd, calling for the Muslim armies for the people of Palestine.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, can you imagine
great.
any context? It doesn't matter. Any context, can you imagine standing in front of a sign that said Christian armies?
Oh, my gosh.
So, it's
that's
just
all
like
anybody would be talking about today on the news.
But it's to your point, name a country where people from different backgrounds can live together.
You can't name one.
Peacefully.
There isn't one.
And yet we are in that era as a nation where we've been taken advantage of.
Yeah. And we're made to feel like we're were garbage because there's occasional problems here. Well, of course there's going to be. None of us are perfect, and there will always be racism in some form. There will always be some people who are racist, but we had a much better handle on this, again, before the Obama presidency. And he had the opportunity to put the finishing touches on that whole racist time period and become a post-racial country. And he did the opposite. He went the other direction. And ever since then, and Biden's made it even worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now we've got...
we got some details, too.
Yeah, speaking of Obama.
Speaking of Barack Obama, new details in his chef's death after an information request. New details have been revealed that Barack Obama, remember we were told at the time, he wasn't there. The Obamas weren't home. Nobody was there. Nobody was on the island. They were somewhere else. They were at one of their other 14 homes across the world. I'm not sure if they were in the south of France in their villa there, or if they were in their castle in Norway, or they might have been on the beach in Hawaii. I don't know, but they weren't there. They were there. They were there. Surprise! What a stunning surprise. Secret Service has surveillance footage of the man before he died. Wow. Wouldn't you like to see that? We never will, but I'd love to see it. So they had an FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act, and he was at the scene of the incident after Campbell went missing and drowned. Fox News' Jesse Waters revealed that his team obtained new information through a redacted report from Massachusetts State Police. New details include that a female staff member attempted to look for Campbell after he disappeared underwater. We have new information tonight in the drowning death of Obama's chef, Tafari Campbell. Waters announced the Massachusetts State Police responded to our FOIA request and released the report with some redactions. Why? Why'd you have to redact it? It's not national security. Why would you have to redact that? That's interesting, isn't it?
Isn't it, though?
That's interesting. Is there a number of people can call Ivan?
It's 911. However, any traces of that call will be erased from the official record.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
According to the report, Obama was on the scene shortly after Campbell went missing. Wow. The report also states an unnamed female staffer jumped into the water when Tafari fell off his board, but it was already too late. He disappeared. So he fell off his board, and what? You were just instantly dead? That is weird, isn't it?
Sure is.
That's what happens when you have cinder block tied to your feet.
Yeah, that does make it
immediate.
harder to swim. It does. Yeah, when you got the cement overshoes, makes swimming so much harder.
Let me tell you, boys, what can help with that?
What?
They're called these
Crocs?
Rubbery croc deals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's...
Now,
get you a pair of these.
If only Tafari had gotten some free from whoever.
Glenn Beck.
Yeah, right. Right. But he didn't.
So wait a minute.
Could have saved his life.
Why were the Obama girls in California right after this?
I don't know.
Keith, don't get me started. You know my theory on this.
Oh, I don't want to get you started.
Is your theory that he impregnated one of them?
Yeah.
No, I'm just wondering why you wouldn't want to interview all the people that were there.
Well, they did, but Obama was part of the interview process as well, which is very odd.
Yeah, why was he sitting in the room when everyone was getting
interviewed,
questioned? Is that it? Just
would that for maybe? I mean, even just the intimidation factor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you got to
believe former president of the United States sitting there,
and current president of the United States.
Thank you. That is right. Yeah.
That you're employed by, right? You don't want to lose your gig with Barack Obama.
No, you don't. That's a sweet gig for Secret Service. You're hanging out at Martha's Vineyard or one of his other mansions.
Boy, this story, we cannot let it die, so to speak.
Interesting.
Because there's so much more here that I don't know if it'll ever come out, but I'm
Probably
convinced that there are so many details.
And why is it heavily redacted?
That's the cover-up is always worse than the crime. Not at all minimizing someone's death. But what I'm saying is, from the get-go, when you are redacting a specific call in the police log, but you can see everything else that was happening on Martha's Vineyard that day with the police.
And again, then they wonder why we start filling in these details with our own suspicions. We don't trust you. You've proven to not be trustworthy. So, yes, we start using our imagination a bit. And, I mean, it's not that big a leap to think that people in power did something nefarious, especially if something did happen with one of his daughters and this chef. I mean, I don't know that happened, but
we have no idea.
Idea. But no evidence of it.
We do know that they don't mind abortions.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want him punished with a baby. I don't want him punished with a baby. So, yeah, we do know that, don't we?
But now, wait a minute, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could send someone off to California for that.
Well,
but you can do that in Massachusetts, too.
Yes, you can.
So, So there, I just shot a hole through your theory, Chris. Of course, maybe the press would follow you a lot closer if you were close to home as opposed to across the country. Yeah. There, I just repaired the hole that I just shot through your theory, Chris. I don't know, man. There's just something
to explain why she was upset in California, because if I'm in California and I'm on Obama, I'll be happy, not upset.
Yeah.
So.
But you just had a family friend die. Someone that you've known for 15 years. So.
And they were supposedly really close, too.
I bet they were.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's handling your food every day.
Yeah.
And wasn't he supposed to release a book as well?
I don't know, but that would add another wrinkle to it, wouldn't it?
I'm telling you, there's so...
Was he?
I believe so.
Or are you just making that up?
No, I believe
he was. You just pulled that out.
No, he was.
He was going to release a book.
The chef was going to release a book.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I heard that detail.
I'm almost 100% positive.
Yes.
I don't know what the tenor of it might have been in cookbook. I don't know, but I know that he was working on something. Okay,
wow.
Free Think Friday. What do we think? January?
Yeah, January for the Obama chef controversy.
I'll start now.
Well, let's quickly just mention the next three. We have the topics figured out. Tomorrow's the truth about
Titanic.
The Titanic. We're gonna find out if it actually sank. In November, we're gonna. Can I go ahead and do this? Okay, JFK. What really happened with him? I mean, spoiler alert, he died, but we're gonna find out who did the deed. And then in December, it's MK
Ultra.
I'm telling you, this. I'm not gonna say it. There are shootings that are documented connected to MK Ultra. I mean, absolutely. So.
Yes.
Bad things.
So that should be a fun show.
MK Ultra is our federal government's attempt to control the minds of individuals to get them to do bad things.
And more recent, I'm excited about tomorrow's show because I'm not familiar with the Titanic story. Yeah. I'm not. Are you?
I just know a few detained just in...
You've always been, Chris?
Yeah.
And you got it from the person we're going to be talking to, right?
So I interviewed... So Zainab Yenisei, she writes articles for multiple publications. And she was a guest of mine on At the Mic when I used to interview people about their life stories. All the episodes there, including Pat and Chris, at themicshow.com. Well, anyway, in there, she just kind of mentioned offhand this Titanic thing. And I said, wow, we got to talk about this sometime. You know, I got to hear this whole conspiracy theory you have about the Titanic, because that was the first I'd ever heard of it.
Is tomorrow.
So when we started doing these shows, I thought, there's a potential guest. So this is the first time she's ever laid out her case for everyone. She's sent over dozens of pictures, sent over plenty of notes, and this is going to be fun, I hope.
We've got real ADHD today, and we've opened up like 100 cans of worms.
So many cans.
And we're going to...
Have we buried that potato yet in the front?
Not yet. Not yet. But we're going to open up another can of worms in just a minute. But first, let me tell you about this recent study of hundreds of post-abortive women. As you might expect, a lot of them, 60%, reported they would have preferred to give birth if they had more support or they were more financially secure. And that's where preborn steps in. Preborn is there for women in their really tough hour when they're trying to make this life and death choice. Now, the problem with that is a lot of times they've been propagandized to not believe it's life and death. They think that's just a clump of cells. Well, that's where the ultrasound comes in. It shows the baby, and you can hear the heartbeat, and you see the movement, and it's a life changer, literally. It changes lives. It saves lives. And then when the woman chooses life as they do, about 80% of the time, then they go into action in supporting that woman and helping them with everything she needs to keep the baby healthy and happy. So your donation of $28 will help a woman make the choice that she won't have to regret for the rest of her life and gives the ultimate blessing, life. So your love can save a life. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or visit preborn.com/Pat. That's preborn.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Have you seen the new Disney movie? It's not so new anymore, but Haunted Mansion, the latest iteration of that.
Is it good?
They actually do almost that exact laugh a bunch of times during the movie. And that's what made me like it. Yes, it is.
So,
it's not bad. It's not as bad as you might think.
Is the movie the ride? Like, are you just on the ride?
Based on the ride.
Yeah.
But, yeah. They go a little deeper. So.
Okay.
But I would say, and this will surprise you, you don't necessarily have to have been on the ride in order to understand the movie.
Ah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an intelligent person. If you're a dummy, you won't get it.
Wait, hold on.
That's the case with everything.
Does the chick, like, in the floating head chick, does she make an appearance?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. I don't want to give away too much, but yes.
All right.
Yes, the crystal ball chick is in it. It's a different one, though, because that crystal ball chick, I believe, died some time ago. The original one?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a haunted mansion. I mean, I think everybody in there's dead by now.
Yes.
And Danny DeVito, right?
Yeah, Danny DeVito's in it. What's his face? Luke. Is it Luke? There's, the guy with the broken nose thing.
What's
his
Lightning
name?
McQueen.
Yes. You can't remember his name either.
It's because you... Owen Wilson. That's because you threw me off with Luke.
Not Luke Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Luke's his brother, I believe. Owen Wilson is in it. He's funny in it. It's pretty good.
By the way, I made the comment, I don't know if you were here, but I want to see something that has Owen Wilson and J.K. Simmons in it together because I love both of those actors.
I like them too. Yeah.
But I found there was one, and I got to go watch it. I don't even idea at all what the movie's about. But those are my two favorite actors.
Okay.
I dig them.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I promised you another can of worms. Here it is. If you missed the Tucker Carlson interview that he did about the George Floyd death.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an interview or was it like more of a monologue?
Yeah, it was more of a, yes, right, yes. But he says Derek Chauvin did not murder George Floyd, and that's because they kind of covered up the autopsy report.
Exactly.
Which had a different cause of death. Huh. Isn't that interesting?
Isn't it, though?
He did not die from asphyxiation. He didn't die from the knee on his neck, even though I don't think he should have done that, especially for 8 minutes. Get off the guy. Get off of him. Put the handcuffs on. Put him in the car. We're done. The guy's still alive. We avoided a lot of crap.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, well, maybe not. I don't think we disagree that it was
not cool.
Excessive force. Like it went on much
excessive.
longer than it needed to, for sure.
Indeed. But
that's not what killed him.
The cause of death was fentanyl poisoning,
which we were saying at the time, the way he was behaving, and experts were saying. Yep.
Well, that changes everything, right?
Sure
the
does.
guy was convicted and sent to prison for, I don't know, was it 30 years or something?
Basically, rest of his life.
Rest of his life. And if he didn't die from then Derek Chauvin didn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So he should at least get a new trial.
Right.
Actually, he should just be set free. Can you imagine?
Oh, gosh.
The chaos that would cause, the rioting that would cause.
There wouldn't be an American city left.
You can't base that decision on that, though. You can't.
Exactly.
You've got to do it anyway. Justice must be served.
Mm-hmm.
The guy should be let go. It's really something.
Mm-hmm.
And the coroner didn't want to be the focus of all of the anger from the people who were out in the streets, so he ignored the actual cause of death.
Yeah, what?
How do you live with yourself?
Yeah,
after
we got the
that?
court transcript there of exactly how the conversation went there.
Yeah, Dr. Baker. I don't remember if he said he would do it or not, but he did do it. He called me later in the day on that Tuesday, and he told me that there were no medical findings that showed any injury to the vital structures of Mr. Floyd's neck. There were no medical indications of
Asphyxiation.
asphyxia.
Okay.
Yeah, asphyxia or strangulation. There were no indications. He wasn't asphyxiated, and he wasn't strangled. He said to me, Amy, this is Amy, I think she was like the assistant coroner.
Right, yeah.
Amy, what happens when the actual evidence doesn't match up with the public narrative that everyone's already decided on? And then he said, this is the kind of case that ends careers. Yeah, and puts not guilty people in prison for life. Wow, that's amazing. All right, after the break, we will show you a black man that understands what the George Floyd narrative was all about. I think you're going to be fascinated by that. But first, let me tell you about something really important. It is the Jace case. You really want this in your life, because if we have an interruption in the supply chain of antibiotics or any kind of pharmaceuticals, we're going to be in a world of hurt unless you have the Jace case, which has a course of 5 different antibiotics in it. So you're ready for anything, any eventuality that comes up. Don't get caught unprepared. Go to jacemedical.com, enter the promo code PAT at checkout. That's promo code PAT at JASE Medical, jacemedical.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
You know, for Halloween this year, you might consider a dozen cookies rather than those tiny little fun size candies.
This would be a treat, not a trick.
Right. This would be a real treat. They're Kexi cookies. You know, I honestly believe these are the best cookies on earth. I really do. Not just because, I'm part of the company, paid for all the stuff to make it happen, but they really are. I mean, taste them. Crumble has 500, 600 locations across the nation, and they have a good product. Ours are better. Last Crumb is a company that charges you $150 per box for their cookies.
Oh,
those are delicious. Ours are better, and you can find out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Go to Kexi.com, order them. Here's what Ting Ting C said about them. A+++ would recommend. The search is over. These are hands down the best cookies I've ever had. Again, those are Ting Ting's words, not mine. I ordered the Texas sheet cake, chocolate chip, cookies and cream, blueberry lemon, and peanut butter drizzle. The cookies look just as good in person as they do online. They're huge, so it's a great value. I'm so impressed by the quality and taste. Not to mention, the owners, bless you, go above and beyond with customer service. Yeah, my son Sean is really good. I've heard him on the phone with people. He's awesome. What more could you ask for? Support small business and check this place out. You won't regret it.
nice.
Yeah, it's at Kexi.com. It's where you can do that. Back to the madness, though. Actually, there's a guy who brought a little bit of common sense into our discussion. We were just telling you about George Floyd and that situation with the cop, Derek Chauvin, in prison probably for the rest of his life for murder. He was charged with killing George Floyd. Well, the autopsy report says he didn't kill him. George Floyd died from fentanyl overdose. And 100,000 people a year do that. It's not that uncommon, but this cop shouldn't be charged with murder as a result. Do I think he did a great job there? No, of course not. He was way out of line. But he didn't kill him, apparently, if you're to believe this report. And what is she, this Amy that is finally getting this information out there? I think she's the assistant coroner, right? She was in there listening to him, and he was talking to her about how you do this. How do we let people know that the actual evidence doesn't match up with the public narrative that everybody already decided on? It's the kind of case that ends your career, and he didn't want that to happen, so he didn't say anything. Huh. Okay, well, here's a black man that understands the George Floyd narrative and what that was all about. Check this out.
While I was serving in the military, my background is forensics. I know how to read autopsy reports. I even filled a lot of reports. And it finally came to truth about George Floyd's death. Drug overdose. He didn't die by asphyxiation or strangulation by the police department of Minneapolis. And the sad thing about it is, Keith Ellison and the prosecutor and a lot of the Democrats knew that was a lie. But they pushed that lie, which destroyed cities across the nation everywhere. A lot of people lost their lives, a lot lost businesses, and then a lot of the cities started promoting defund the police. Now what's happening in Minneapolis and St. Paul, happening in Baltimore, just everywhere. Democrats have been destroying our country ever since they lost the Civil War. And y'all people keep voting for them. They don't care nothing about you. They rather take a dumb, stupid person like George Floyd and push their agenda to destroy your own community.
Wow. That was a mouthful right there.
That's a lot there.
Yeah. And as a whitey, as a Casper, I can't say that stuff, but he can. So, I don't know. You tell me. Should Derek Chauvin at least get a new trial? I don't think there's any question about that. But will he? I haven't even seen anybody bring it up since this report broke. I mean, you don't want to at least look into it? A man's life is at stake here. Jeez. Yesterday, we showed you the terror watch list encounters.
Gosh.
How many was it?
It's in the
like
hundreds
169 in this fiscal year. Those are just the ones that we encountered. How many did we not encounter?
And how many are just waiting for their marching orders?
And what is this fun map we have?
Okay, so this is, put this up, please, the map we have.
This is where we think there are terrorist camps, right?
Yeah, look at this.
All over the country. Look at that.
All these terrorist affiliated groups that we know of in this country, I don't understand why they're still allowed to operate. And if you're listening, here are the states represented: Washington, Oregon, California, Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, New York, Massachusetts, Virginia, North Carolina, and Florida. But just go ahead and go about your day and
don't worry about it.
Just live your life.
Don't worry about it.
Does that say that Hamas is here in Fort Worth?
Let's see here.
Right?
I can't see. Hamas. Okay, neat. Dallas, Fort Worth, Hamas.
Okay. All right.
Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah. Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
So they have
like that.
affiliated. Now, so you marry that graphic with what Pat just talked about all the encounters at the border of these are the ones that we know are here.
Yeah. Even though, the border.
No, is it what?
The border is secure.
I'm sorry, what?
The border is secure.
What are you talking about now?
The border is secure.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's so secure that only 169 terrorists crossed the border that we know of. That's how secure it is. It's not 1,069. It's not 1,069,069. It's 169. That's all.
And that map is from a book by Stephen Emerson.
Okay.
American Jihad.
Jeez.
I don't know when that came out.
That's chilling.
Who knows when that...
Tell me that's not chilling.
Neat.
Then we have this video of a Hamas fighter from October 7th. And after...
before and after.
Before it happened...
This should play at the same time. So what you're seeing on the left is how excited he was...
when Israel was being attacked.
Right. And then on the other side is how he's reacting. Remember, Israel's still waiting at the border for permission from Joe Biden to go full tilt into Gaza.
Yeah, we're telling him no.
All right. And
Hold off.
This is his reaction to what Israel's already done in retaliation, apparently.
Yeah, we got a split screen on it. Yeah, look at
that. look how proud he is, upper left, with his gun and his rantings.
And now he's weeping and wailing.
Yeah. love this. So he's so excited, and when the paragliders do their thing, and then he's weeping and probably some teeth gnashing. Do they have braces?
I mean,
what is going on? Neat. So they have good dental care in
adult
the
braces.
Gaza Strip, at least. Don't ever let him tell you
He
that.
apparently couldn't afford Invisalign, though, or whatever.
No, Invisalign, yeah, he can afford it.
No,
it's not on the Hamas plan yet.
So what is the Hamas HMO?
Is it an HMO or
It's
is it a
HMO.
PPO?
He's on the
Okay.
HMO.
All right.
He has not fully killed many Israelis to go full PPO.
I see. So I actually contend that the reason that man has braces is because that's one of the few humanitarian aid items that
got to
Hamas
him?
hasn't figured out how to turn into a weapon.
Yeah, jeez. I mean, this is... I'm amazed every single day when I see the unbridled love for Hamas and the hatred for Israel and for Jews. We have... This is disturbing.
Yes, it is.
To listen to, but this is a phone call between one of the terrorists who was attacking Israelis and his father. He's very proud. So while he's doing all of these atrocities, he calls his dad to tell him about it.
Hello. Hi, Abba.
Hi, Dad.
Abba, أنا قاعد أكلمك من جوا بالسيم.
Talking to you from Nessa's line. Open my WhatsApp. You'll see. Wait, your son killed Jews. Look how many Jews I killed with my own hands.
May God protect you, his dad says. Dad, I'm talking to you from a Jewish woman's phone. I killed her, and I killed her husband. I killed 10 with my own hands. Dad, 10 with my own hands. Dad, open WhatsApp and see how many I killed. Oh, this is really despicable. Animals. Wow. Okay, well.
He's very excited.
Killed him with his own hand. Blood's on his hands right now.
Put mom on the phone. Oh, my God.
Put mom on the phone so I could tell her about my atrocities. Wow.
I wonder how they get to be like that.
Yeah, it's a mystery, isn't it? Oh, wait. Maybe not so much. Here's some Palestinians that...
Look at these kids here. And this is... I mean, they're taught this in school every day. To hate Jews and to want to kill them. We have to make war
to prove we're stronger than the Jews. People love Palestine, and they are ready to die for Palestine. Okay. I want to fight against them, the Jews, and defeat them in the war. At school, they teach us that Al-Aqsa and all of Palestine is ours. The Jews lie and say that their temple is under the Al-Aqsa Mosque. It was never there. I hate the Jews. Yes, they teach us that the Zionists are our enemy. Interesting. And must fight them. They teach us that Jews are terrorists. At school, they teach us about Jews. They teach us that they're bad people. They killed our young. They teach us in school that Jews are fickle, bad people. I'm ready to stab a Jew and drive a car over them. I will fight. I will ram a car into them. We have to constantly stab them, drive over them, and shoot them, the Jews. Stabbing and running over Jews brings dignity to the Palestinians. I'm going to run them over and stab them with knives. Children. Right now I'm prepared to be a suicide bomber. With Allah's help, I will fight for ISIS, the Islamic State. Wow. Jeez.
So those kids grow up to be the kids that are the young men that cross over in Israel and then call their parents, who are overjoyed, by the way, on the other line, that their children are murdering families in Israel.
This is what Israel's up against. This is what they face every day. This is the kind of hatred that the Hamas caucus, formerly known as the Squad, defends and praises and weeps about every single day. How do you do it? Wow. I honestly don't know how you do it. And by the way, Joe Biden has said at least 10 times that Hamas does not represent the Palestinian people. They don't represent all Palestinians. Well, actually, they do. Because first, the Palestinians elected Hamas's Change and Reform Party in 2006. The most recent legislative election gave Hamas an overwhelming 74 seats. I think we showed you that yesterday and talked about this several times. The Palestinian Authority's Fatah only won 45 seats. Parties representing other terror groups each won 2 to 4 seats. Palestinian Authority Director Mahmoud Abbas has not held elections for the past 17 years to avoid losing again to Hamas. And last year, hundreds of thousands of Palestinians rallied in the streets to celebrate the 35th anniversary of Hamas. They love Hamas. In addition, Hamas terror attacks on Israelis increase Palestinian support for Hamas. For example, Palestinian support for Hamas increased dramatically after Hamas launched 4,500 rockets to Israel, at them, on them, in May 2021. The support went up after that. Second, Gazans and the civilians actively participated in, aided, abetted, and celebrated the October 7th massacre. In fact, some of them poured across the border too and helped take hostages and kill people. Then after the first wave of Hamas terrorists slaughtered more than 1,400 Jews, huge waves of Gazan civilians armed with knives screaming Allahu Akbar flooded into Israel and joined Hamas in the massacres and the kidnappings. Mobs of Gazan civilians killed and gang raped innocent Jews, chopped off innocent Jews' heads, took hostages, entered and burned down massacred Jews' homes, and ransacked and looted everything in sight. TVs, automobiles, jewelry, kids' bicycles. I mean, how do you support that?
Yeah. And by the way, can we do the picture there from the World War II era? Look at that. Look at that. Picture's been making the rounds. Quote, Palestinians holding up the swastika in support of Nazism.
Nice.
But
nice. I wonder why. Was it because they agreed with the extermination of Jews?
Common bond.
Yeah, they sure did. And that's hatred for the Jews. Incredible. I mean, it's incredible. We got more coming up here. First, let me tell you about Fume. Cold turkey is great for sandwiches. You know, maybe the day after Thanksgiving. You put, what I like to do is put cold turkey on a roll. Oh,
yes.
On my wife's homemade rolls. So good. But let me tell you about Fume, because you don't have to go cold turkey on your bad habits. Fume will help you stop. It just takes out the bad in the habit. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change that you can't sustain anyway, just remove the bad from your habit. Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that will help you take the bad out of your habit. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Go to tryfume.com and use the promo code UNLEASHED, and you'll save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfume.com. Promo code UNLEASHED to save an additional 10% off your order today.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
You know, Pat, obviously there's evil over in the Middle East, but there's racism in other places of the world too, like Scotland.
Scotland?
Yeah, Scotland's got some racism issues. I don't know exactly who this guy is. I think he's a lawmaker. I don't know. Humza Yousaf. Anyway, so he was giving a speech, I think, in the Scottish Parliament yesterday or very recently. And he has been making some observations about the nation that he lives in, and I thought you might enjoy this.
Okay.
White. The Lord Justice Clerk, white. Every High Court judge, white. The Lord Advocate, white. The Solicitor General, white. The Chief Constable, white. Every Deputy Chief Constable, white. Every Assistant Chief Constable, white. The head of the Law Society, white. The head of the Faculty of Advocates, white. Every prison governor, white. And not just justice. The Chief Medical Officer, white. The Chief Nursing Officer, white. The Chief Veterinary Officer, white. The Chief Social Work Advisor, white.
Pattern.
Almost every trade union in this country headed by people who are white. In the Scottish Government, every Director General is white. Every chair of every public body is white.
Okay. Now,
and your point?
It's a very interesting observation that he makes there. It's also interesting to note that the country that he's speaking in is, well,
white.
96% white.
96%?
So the odds of those positions being held by white people
is pretty high.
Pretty high. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish.
Yeah, you might not want to live in a majority white country. You might want to move to, I don't know, someplace where the people look more like you.
So
if you're offended by the white people.
Is the first minister of Scotland. That sounds like a pretty big deal there.
Yeah, that's a pretty big.
So he's the head of the Scottish cabinet,
and he didn't mention that.
Wow,
not white. That particular position.
So how many positions did he rattle off there? Should we say about 9 or 10, probably?
Yeah, probably more than that.
Okay,
15, 20.
Well, whatever he did there, he's not white.
Jeez.
And just based on that number there, that percentage is higher than the population, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's fantastic.
It's really strange.
Did he get any blowback from that?
I don't.
Hey, what a racist.
Total racist rant.
Of course, people of color can't be racist.
Yeah, so
it can't happen.
I hear you're working over there.
It's impossible.
Whitey.
I know.
Let's
sorry.
see if there's any.
But his family right now is currently suffering because
his family is
his family.
Oh, his family's in Gaza
because they're running out of water in Gaza.
Oh.
So well, wait, hold on. How do you get water into your house?
Through pipes.
How does Hamas use
don't ask.
Pipes? What are they using for?
For rockets.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're thirsty,
but,
bro.
I mean, that was just a promotional video that showed us that.
Yes.
So
it's not happening.
It's not happening. It's not real. That's just propaganda.
All right. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
Again, I seriously don't. I don't know what to tell you if you're a big supporter of Hamas and the Palestinians in this fight. I mean, all you can say is Israel shouldn't be responding at all. Really? Yeah, how many people have to die? I don't know. As many as it takes to put a stop to this once and for all. We've gone through how many times Israel's been attacked. And those are just the major historical attacks that they've endured over the years. The 1948 war, the 1956, 1967, 1973, 1981, all through the 90s. 2003, 2005, 2007, 2010, all through the 2000 teens, leading up to 2023, and it's still happening. How much do they have to endure before they finally wipe out Hamas? Where at least they make the effort to. I know we would if it were us. If we had incursions across our border with Mexico, and they were killing people all the time, or they're launching rockets across the border into Texas cities or Californian cities, you don't think we'd respond? And if that happened year after year, decade after decade, I think we'd eventually launch an attack that would seek to destroy our enemy completely. That seems to be where Israel's head is right now.
Right.
And I think they'd be in the process of doing that, except our president is holding them back from that.
Yeah, and they're just miserable people everywhere. Like this Humza Yousaf guy in Scotland. But it's not just in positions of power and politics. You're not allowed to enjoy life at all and laugh and, cut up and
I'm not able to do that. Is that offending people?
Yeah, according to this lady. Can we get the picture of number 10 here? This has been making the rounds. I think it's fun. It's a lady who
she's got a mask on.
Thank you. That's your first giveaway that she's a miserable human being. And then she posted this on social media. That's a fun little quote here.
These men 6 rows away on the train had the audacity to laugh for an hour.
What?
Hearing men in this country laugh was enough to make me cry on the train for 20 minutes. Must be nice to be able to laugh these days.
Wow. You talk about someone who's miserable, who wants everybody else miserable. I think we should laugh just in defiance of her. Like, then laugh in her face.
Her last comment is, I seriously never want to hear a man laugh ever again.
Oh, no. I hope you're listening now. You're so
what a
stupid.
maroon. Oh, golly. Oh, boy.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.